Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my review of 1917. It's directed by Sam Mendes. You'll probably remember him from Skyfall and Spectre, the Bond films. More particularly, actually, from the opening sequence of Spectre. It's all like one shot. It starts on the street, goes up the elevator, into the room, outside the building, then top of the other building, and it's all in one take, or it's kind of perceived or put together. It feels like that it's all in one take. So basically, just if you want to know what this movie really is, you take that sequence and you stretch it to 2 hours. Now, overall, I'm gonna say the movie is actually really good. I don't think it's a perfect movie. There are a few nitpicks I have, but I'll get to the later. The good. That one take, man, Sam Mendes really kicked out of the park. It's done beautifully. There's a point in basically halfway throughout the movie that there is a cut because they have to show a passage of time. But other than that, it's all put together in a way, and the editing and all is done so perfectly that it feels like it's all in one take. So that part nailed it. The other thing that's really done really well is the sense of loneliness. So basically the story is that there's these two soldiers. They have to take this message from point A to point B. If they don't reach there in time, 1,600 men will die. This idea of a one shot to work, there has to be a sense of struggle, sense of loneliness that these characters have to go through. Obviously, the journey has to show some kind of a struggle. Can't be just walking. They have to go through a danger, a power struggle. And there are enough scenes laid out where it's portrayed and it comes through really well. The other thing is the CGI. Amazing. It never feels unrealistic. It's blended in with the cinematography really well. The direction of this movie is masterclass. Saying all that, there's a weak point to this movie. A couple of them. The first of all, I do believe they should have at least given this movie 5 to maybe even 10 more minutes, just to kind of give not a backstory, but just a bit more character building for the two soldiers that are about to go on this mission. Because one of my positive, there's a scene towards like the half of the movie where it involves a soldier, a woman, and a baby. And that one scene, there's not a lot of dialogue and there's nothing unnecessary in that scene, but with the amount of dialogue that's given in that scene, it shows you that struggle and the loneliness and the casualties that can come out of a war. It's done beautifully, and that's the negative that I have towards the soldiers' background. I do feel like they should have given them a bit more time. Obviously, because it's one take, you don't want to add scenes and you want to keep that pace. So not maybe give them like separate scenes or show their backstories or families, but at least in dialogue, give them something so that when they go on this journey, and when they're on this journey, we're basically looking at these soldiers from the back. So the camera most of the time is always above their kind of shoulder, there's behind them, so it feels like that we're on this journey with them. So a bit of help just to, as a viewer, just to have that bit more of a backstory. The other thing is there's this one sequence that really takes you out of the movie, and it involves a chase. So it's all in one sequence. So there's a chase, and there's a bit of downtime, and then there's another chase. So there's basically soldiers trying to get to this other soldier. there's a few things that happen in that scene. I'm not an expert on World War One, and I'm not an expert on the weapon. I was like, no way. And that's all I'm going to say. So minus that and the character building, one more thing, the Christopher Nolan movies and the music was needed in this. The final sequence, the music really comes into play, and that sequence you really feel like that final struggle. But there are other moments where I do think the music should have been a bit heavier to give that situation that the soldiers were in a bit more kick. So overall, this was a masterpiece. In a way, in some ways not. So that's the reason it's not that perfect. But in terms of technicality and what Sam Mendes is able to do on a technical level, again, this movie is amazing. It's a masterclass. On a story level, of course, it's simple yet important. You won't see something like Dunkirk, or this is not Saving Private Ryan. It's a very different kind of a movie because it's just following these two soldiers specifically, and that's that. And we're on this journey with them. That's it. So yeah, definitely a must-see. And you know what? I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. And with that, again, subscribe, like, dislike the video, let me know how I'm doing. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all later. Take care. Ta-ta.